A very good morning and a warm welcome to one and all present over here, teachers. I hope you're able to see me and hear me clearly. And I would like to warmly welcome everyone to the another Super Sunday workshop. And this time we are getting into a very nice topic, something very common in the school, called as conflict resolution. Conflict resolution, as a topic itself, has been taken into multiple corporate training programs. Generally happens when there is a system of too many people working in one organization for one particular cause. Many people will have their own ideas. Some ideas will be listened, some may not be. Some might be ignored by chance, and some might be deliberately avoided. So today's session is going to touch upon that particular area. We're going to talk about conflict and its resolutions. Interesting part about the conflict is predominantly, especially in a school setup, when multiple teachers come up with ideas, all of them might be right. It becomes very difficult for the coordinators or the teachers in the leaders to choose on what's right at the current scenario. Lot of influences happen. Consider the moral values, we take into considerations the ethics of a particular system, we also get into the rules and regulations, we talk about something called as policies of a particular school before concluding on a particular decision whenever there are multiple cases arise. Before we actually get into the school scenario, I would also like to tell you, a person who has the ability to a person who has this ability to resolve conflicts at home, a person who has this ability to resolve conflicts at home will be really a great a person with a great skill set of resoluting a particular conflict within school. Many times it happens, right? People say na ki, all your dialogues are only applicable outside, you can't do anything in the home. I'm not sure how many of you have heard about it or undergo that. If you are, then I can relate to it to a large extent. Even there's a slang in Hindi also, they just say that पहले अपना घर संभालो, first take care of your home and then come outside. Charity begins at home, something like that. Yeah. So conflict resolution is all about advices, all about the right decision to be taken. But there are certain scientific methods with which we can actually resolve. Not all the time a leader might be in a consideration of all the people who are working. There are a lot of times that the leader might not even know who's working in the system in the office. But if a process is set very clear, if an algorithm is set very clear, considering all the factors of conflicts, resolving it is quite an easy task. Let's quickly understand that in the form of certain presentations out there. I would like to thank all the teachers, the school leaders, the coordinators, HMs. In fact, many parents have joined, and also the people who do not belong to educator sector. It's completely fine. Yesterday we got a very interesting question from one of the teachers that can other people apart from being a teachers, can we join? Obviously, there's no restriction. Absolutely. So, conflict resolution in schools, Super Sunday workshop series. We are there in session 131. For all the teachers who are joining consistently, thank you very much. Let's go forward. Conflict is just a signal that something needs attention. Two people want different things or see things differently. It's not automatically a fight or something bad. This is very important for us to understand. Conflicts are majority of the times really good when some two people are trying to come up with a solution which is better for the organization. May be applicable, may not be. The way we respond decides whether it turns into a problem or an opportunity to improve. Here, I would like to quickly add one important point. I was fortunate to work with certain school leaders who came up with this idea of Socratic method of discussion. Socratic method of discussion is basically anything that a person says, the other person on the opposite side should be negative about it. Something like let's try to they call it as brainstorming probably, but in a deliberate attempt to be negative. For example, if Aditi ma'am is saying something, whatever she says, Anil Kumar's job is to make sure that he's speaking against her. So this is exactly like the government policy where the ruling party will be sitting on one side of the parliament. On the other side, the opposition will keep asking questions on anything that the other person says. Well, it's not just for the sake of asking, it has to be from the perspective of development. Are we considering all the permutations and combinations of the solutions? Maybe the person who is having the authority to decide on something may have missed something, right? Socratic questioning. So Socratic questioning is very important. And if it is labeled like Socratic questioning, the other person will not really feel bad about it. So let's understand this. Let's understand this. It's not always negative. It simply means that people see things differently. Conflict becomes a problem only when it is handled poorly, leading to stress, resentment, or disruption. So, when handled well, conflict can lead to better understanding, stronger relationships, and creative solutions. So, just because somebody is against us doesn't really mean they're wrong about things. So, that's a very good outlook with respect to conflict. So, taking it productively is more of the constructivism of conflict rather than taking it on a negative side, like they're always fighting and things like that. Very common in a family. Let's go forward. So some of the common conflicts in schools, just try to tell me if you're able to relate to this. The first one, among students, student to student, lot of conflicts. Our day goes on this is the maximum. Bullying or teasing, physical, verbal, or online bullying, creating a hostile environment. Back in my days, there was nothing called as online. We used to have this bullying happening during the tuitions, and next day we used to come and complain to teachers that this fellow did some and so, not in the school premises, but in the tuition premises, something like that. Next is group project disputes, arguments about workload distribution or final credit. Once a child is completing a certain activity, he'll be very vocal about, I am the one who did it, you did not do anything. And students have this tendency of, if something doesn't work, immediately they'll blame their team members. I didn't do, ma'am, she only did everything. Something like that. Another conflict. The third is competition and jealousy. Now, somewhere we have reasons for it. Over marks, recognition, sports teams, leadership positions. These are some of the areas where students feel jealous about other people. And feeling jealous, maybe if it is channeled in the right manner, it's a good thing. However, partiality, it comes as the next point. We'll talk about it. So it's important for the teachers to redirect that energy. Friendship issues, very common right after, I think, seventh, eighth standard. Not so bad in third and fourth standard. One moment this particular child will be my best friend. Akash is the friend of my life, and in the next period, Akash, I do not know who it is, Kriti is the best friend, something like that. So exclusion, gossip, or changing peer groups causing emotional stress. Friendship issues, very common among students. And in order to solve this, the teachers have to get down at the level of students to actually resolve it. In fact, when I'm saying all these things, if you're there really in the school, you're all remembering that particular child who's going through all these things. These are very common. Cultural language classes, not very common, but these days we're able to see students having the maturity to talk about this. For example, misunderstandings due to diverse backgrounds. You don't come from the right religion. Your language is not so powerful. I am the best in the world because my language is so and so. These discussions were not at all common during my days, but many principals and teachers in the last 1 week when we were talking to them, they complained about it literally. And then this is something that's happening already from sixth standard onwards. Students show a lot of things. One important problem with this is when the children are not at all associated with languages. Of course, their backgrounds, their parents, their native place plays an important role. But more than that, the sense of pride, the sense of pride that they belong to a certain community, a sense of pride that they belong to a certain school, the sense of pride that they belong to a certain state, the sense of pride that they belong to a particular part of the country, northern India, southern India, the sense of pride that they are from the country influences the factor of their patriotism towards the smallest of things. See, it's a quite a very difficult thing for the students to comprehend. When we say that you have to be really patriotic about your country, uh, the message is I can be patriotic about whatever I have around me or wherever I belong. So how can it be wrong? That's one of the outlook of the whole thing. Like I can say that I'm from Maharashtra. I love Maharashtra because I'm from Maharashtra, and I've got similar levels of patriotism for my country as well. Can you really see that? Say that you're from Maharashtra, and you cannot be patriotic about it, or you're wrong about it. Basically, the point over here is, or the problem over here is not about being patriotic or being affectionate or being uh, uh, taking pride about wherever you belong to. That's not the problem. But disrespecting the pride of others is a problem. Disrespecting or putting somebody else down and then talking about it, is that is a problem. And with social media coming into picture, when people just don't talk about the pride, they start talking about the negative aspects of the other uh, you know uh, people who live along with us, diversity. So this is becoming very common. I'm not sure if you're able to relate to this, but students are behaving with this. Next is between teacher and student. I'm not this is, I think, almost everybody can relate. Let's go forward. First is disciplinary issue. Refusal to follow rules, disruption in class. You say something, I was there in a classroom recently. A teacher is asking the students to get out of the class. The child just got up and went out as if it's an opportunity for him to go out and stand. This was not the case during my school days or college days, yeah, a little bit. But school children are finding it like if they really want to go out, they're like, let me misbehave, and the teacher will ask me to get out. So that's like a very big task for the teachers to control that kind of students. Next is perceived bias or favoritism. uh, Perceived bias, I would like to repeat it. Perceived bias, generally some students who are having these inferiority complex and all on various aspects, they might start thinking everything that's happening around them is wrong or it's against them. One of the factors is basically thinking that the teachers are prioritizing that particular girl, that particular boy, because they both are from the same building, or they both speak the same language, whatever it is. This is perceived bias favoritism, which is not really common as far as I have seen the teachers around me. However, this seems to be an issue from the student's perspective. They mistake, yeah. Misunderstanding of instructions. Students claim they were unclear about tasks and exams. So basically, the teacher would have covered all the points. They take that as an opportunity and come back to the teacher. Ma'am, you did not teach me this. How can I write this answer? Something like, deliberate attempts of uh, putting the teachers down, something like that. Next is low motivation engagement. Students resist participation. Teacher pushes for performance. Sometimes a competition might be not interesting enough, but the outcome is really important. You push the students and the students misunderstand. You say na participation is more important, etc., etc. This is the place. Conflict over assessment, very common. Students argue over grading or feedback given. Ma'am, I have written the complete answer. I'm supposed to get the full 3 or 4 marks. You have not given me, but you have given that to that particular person. No, that's wrong. Conflict over assessment, this is between teacher and student. Next is very spicy, interesting. Watch this. Next is, come on, 1 minute. 1 minute. My computer hanged again. Okay, that's great. You're able to see the screen. I'm so sorry. So this will be interesting. This generally happens among the principals. No, teachers. See this. You're able to see this, right? Among teachers. The first one is ideological differences. Disagreement over teaching approach, traditional versus modern. This is one of the greatest problems among the teachers. It's important for all the teachers to realize that everybody has got their own style of teaching. Majority of the social studies teacher might not find a max teacher's performance or the way they teach appropriate. Why? The style of the subject itself is different. Forget about the individual. Probably a teacher who's teaching science and max may not even understand the teacher doing something in an English class or a Hindi class or a Tamil class. So the problem is understanding core subjects with language is very difficult. These two categories, they can really mingle very well, or they can be really opposite poles. So ideological differences on teaching methodologies is actually a plague. Right now you're all thinking about that one person in the staff room who comes and advises you on how to teach, and you don't care. Something like that. This is one of the greatest conflicts. Let's go forward. There is something called as workload distribution. Now, many teachers find an opportunity to go take substitution class to complete the portion, but not many people are happy about it. So, co-curricular duty allocation, exam supervision disputes, annual day function responsibility, sports day discipline committee in charge, blah blah blah, multiple things. Workload distribution. You'll be like, majority of the cases, and if I just have to take the liberty of PT teachers are always like, principal will always remember me if the students are making noise. My job is not that. My job is this. Why am I doing this? Something like that. Well, in a work environment, if somebody can step up and do it, it'll be great. Irrespective of considering the fact that I'm working more, you're working less. It's never measured. You can't measure the amount of work. There are certain metrics by certain school on the amount of work distribution in terms of KRA and KPIs. However, Not really measurable. Competition and recognition. This is generally happens when two people are equally experienced and they are in a position to get their promotion next year, something like that. You do that. Oh, it's not visible. Okay, I'll reshare the screen. I'll reshare the screen. Okay, it should be visible right now. Huh. So competition and recognition, rivalry for promotions, appreciation, or leadership roles. Is there anyone who's about to get the promotion next year? You'll be like, I should be very careful in the next scenario because there's another teacher who's equivalent to me and things like that. Actually, I somewhere very strongly believe if early childhood days, if we got the skill of appreciating somebody else's, I'll repeat it. In early childhood days, if we got the skill of appreciating somebody else on their success, I think this rivalry kind of issues may not come. Yeah, I'm not sure. But we have been there in a surrounding, an environment where it was always the chase of who's going to be the first. So this rivalry will automatically come. Next is interpersonal issues, miscommunication, gossip, or personality clashes within the staff room. There's always one element in the staff room will come and talk about another person who's not part of the group. They'll be like, Madam, did you know what happened? Sir, did you know what happened? And they'll start. Gossip is there in our blood. You have to really use it in a constructive manner. Talking about someone negatively if they are not there in the group is a crime. If at all somebody's coming and talking to you, straight away you can tell them, no, let's not talk. But if it's in a point of appreciation, let's encourage, let's talk about it. Interestingly, it's very difficult. Gossip becomes really nice when it is more on negative aspect. Unfortunately, it's not really good in the work environment. And there was also one point talking about a point mentioning that end of the day in a professional setup, in a school or in a work environment, we should know that they're all colleagues, they're not friends. Everybody is a colleague. The person sitting beside me is my colleague. You could be a very good friend of your colleague, but probably those friendship matters maybe outside the gate, not inside the school. Following the ethics is more important than being emotional about friendship in the school. So this is the difference between moral and ethics. Well, we'll not get into that particular aspect today. Let's go forward and understand. Now comes teachers and parents. A very common during PTM communication gaps. This is the like you're informing something to the parents but they don't understand or they don't read the WhatsApp messages. Parents feel not informed enough about student progress. Well, with holistic progress card, this will definitely change. Conflicting expectations. Parents expect leniency. Teacher enforces discipline. This is the biggest issue for every PTM. How dare you scold my child? Forget about beating. How dare you scold my child? Even if you scold the child, how could you use that kind of a word? That's going to affect my child emotionally. He's going to get into something called as trauma. Children speak about words like I'm mentally disturbed. All these terms I learned probably after my engineering to understand what is psychology. And children today, they speak about all these things. I one of the child from sixth standard, ma'am, talking like that, you're causing trauma to me. Sixth standard student is talking like that to the teacher. Anyways, conflicting expectations. Parents have their own style of teaching which they believe is appropriate for the child, and the teachers do not do. They get agitated. Blame game. Parents blaming teachers for poor performance of the child. Teachers blaming home environment. So this is like I remember like almost this is quite practical. Students come to the school for 6 7 hours. They have a set of academic work to be done. The periods happen and they go back to the school, or sorry, they go back to the home. But parents think that the students are sent to the school. That means it's a factory where refining happens. It's a factory where the students get nurtured both from quality perspectives of their character and academics as well. And the problem is not that they think like that. They think that only school has to do that. They separate themselves away from the children's upbringing. Too much of that is also a problem, and completely ignoring that is also a problem. We are in that kind of a generation right now. Well, we can't blame the parents completely as well. They are in a chase to make some money for the future of these children. So they completely trust the school environment, and the school, they really feel handicapped after a point of time. That's why blame game starts. Next is the principal. Come on, where is it? Involving principal and leadership. Now see this. Principals are basically the sandwich. Look at this. Policy informants. Teachers resist changes or new rules from the principal. The principal is coming up with the new rules not just because she wanted to, but because the management wanted to. Could be the case, right? Next is resource allocation. Oh, this is very important. You gave her 3 periods, you gave me only 2 periods to me. Or you are giving me only 4 periods, for her only 1 period, something like that. Why don't you hire? You know, directly the teachers go to the principal and say, why don't you hire? As if hiring is like, I don't know, disputes over lap time, classroom space, or budgets. Yeah, that's with respect to resource allocation. Performance appraisal, so very difficult time for principals. Staff feel unfairly evaluated by principal and management, especially during your increment time. Very difficult scenarios. Teacher management clash. Oh my God, principal caught between management demands and teacher needs. I really like this series called as the Staff Room. I think the Staff Room in Prime Video. You should actually watch that. It's beautiful, and they have described a principal's plight very nicely in that particular series. You should definitely watch it. If you have not, then definitely go for it. It'll be get. I think 7 or 8 episodes are there, but it's a good one. But the point is, teacher management class. Principal caught between management demands and teacher needs, and parents also come. I'll also tell you, principal also has the responsibility of increasing the admissions, increasing the business in a private school setup. It's not that easy. They need to work out on annual day function so that they invite the parents of nearby schools and acquire students. So it's not an easy job at all to be a leader. Something that I would like to register over here right now. I've seen my mother getting squeezed in all the directions. Anyways, parent principal issues. Parents escalate complaints directly to the principal over teacher actions without a certain order. So principal has to make sure that the system and the process is set. But more importantly, the parents will come and I mean, if the complaint is worthy of a principal's attention, that's great. But predominantly that doesn't happen. The complaints will be petty, very petty. Something like the child in this particular class put water on my child. That's it, and the principal will be called. Unfortunately, principals are in a position to listen to it. That's the saddest part. Principal student conflicts, when students are disciplined at school level and appeal for reconsideration. So basically, certain rules and regulations the students might not like by the principal. So this is another area. Yeah, anyways, let's go forward. So out of all the conflicts that we have seen, which category of conflicts from the following bucket takes most of your energy in your school? What do you think? It may be true, it may not be true. It's just a perspective. Is the student conflicts a problem to you? Teacher student conflicts is a problem to you? Staff room conflicts is a problem to you? Or leadership or parent conflicts is a problem to you? You can mention a particular one. Let's see. Majority of the people would go with what option? Okay, okay. There is people who say C. Staff room conflicts is major. Okay, some people say leadership. Some people say C and O. There is no option called as all of the above, but you can mention if you want to, if it's really genuine. However, if you see this, I'm getting a lot of B and C, teacher student and staff room conflicts, and dominated by C actually. Okay, staff room conflicts are the maximum. I don't understand. How come you say staff room conflicts? Because hardly you get time to be there in the staff room. So basically, you mean to say it's more like teacher-teacher conflict. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. All of the above. Okay. B and C. Okay. People drain energy, sir. Okay. Yeah, of course. Absolutely. Nimala ma'am. Okay, great. Teacher conflicts. Anyways, so when we talk about conflicts, you're absolutely right. Multiple survey prove the fact that a teacher's dissatisfaction of a resolution is mainly because of teacher conflicts and not really student conflicts. We are able to manage student conflicts. We're even able to manage the principal conflicts to a large extent, but teacher conflicts is a plague in the country, not only in India, even in other countries. So somewhere we need to redirect that energy, and somebody very nicely mentioned about it. Any conflict in the school which is not productive or which is not counterintuitive can can crumble your positive energy, your aura, your vibe of the school. Many people hate to go to the school in the morning, not because the culture of school is bad, but because of that one or two teacher who are really causing a lot of troubles. So it's important for all the people who are really thinking that these are the elements who are creating trouble. Let's stand up for them. Let's stand up and tell them you're wrong. So you like looking at somebody, but we need to consider perspectives. If you don't have the capacity to consider perspectives or being on somebody else's shoes, then better to keep quiet instead of standing up. It's important to make sure that you take into all the considerations. So when we talk about conflicts, we understood certain areas, and I hope it was relatable. Now let us get into the next part of conflict resolution, and this is going to be very nice. So conflict resolution. I'm very sorry. Before going to conflict resolution, let us understand conflict from misconception point of view. So all these scenarios that we came across doesn't mean they're all bad. They could be good as well. For example, conflict is bad. No, conflict can be healthy. It leads to growth, creativity, and better understanding. A lot of times, this is the scenario. Good teachers, leaders never face conflict. Oh, this is a very good point. How come you never got into staff from politics, ma'am? Something like that. They do. They actually do. They do face it. It's just that they're able to manage it constructively. I would like to tell a point mentioned to us by the teacher who is able to manage this very well. They said that whenever you feel frustrated or if you have a problem of a certain decision making, it's important not to discuss about the problem, but to discuss about the solution. I'll repeat it. I'll repeat it. If at all you have a problem, a conflict arising because of people or materials, whatever it is, rather than talking about the problem, it's important to talk about the solution. For example, you need to go to the school and you miss the school bus. Yeah, you need to go to the school, you miss the school bus. Rather than saying, oh my god, I missed the school bus, I might not even get the auto. Generally people say, I miss the school bus, I will not get auto, I'll not get bus, it's going to be traffic. These are all citing out the problems. Instead we can reframe the whole statement by saying that, oh my god, I missed the school bus, that's completely fine, it happens. Let me figure out other means of transport. Let me check if my husband is there at home. Let me check if I can book a cab or not right now. Let me check if I can inform the principal that I'll be 10 minutes late. You got the point? In the previous case, it's more like cribbing. But in the second case, it's more like deciding on what to do right now. What to do, not the don't to do. That's basically the people who work and they never find conflicts. So good teachers or leaders never face conflict. It's a myth. They do face it. It's just that they simply manage it constructively. People call this as cognitive reframing. We spoke about it yesterday in Chrysalis School. Conflict should always be avoided. No. Avoidance makes problems bigger over time. Resolution is better. This is very important. Generally, when a fight is happening between a couple, husband and wife, most times they ignore it on that particular day. They're like, I'll sleep over it. Next day morning, they'll be fine about it without a solution. Well, at that particular moment, it might feel to be appropriate that we didn't discuss about it. We have completely ignored it. But one day when the fight comes back, some other fight, you will make sure you bring all those conflicts that happened in the past and kill your husband just with the words. Or the husbands can kill the wife. I'm just trying to be stereotypical. Maybe my personal example. But the point is, it's important to resolve on that particular day itself or that particular night itself. It might be a little difficult to resolve on a single day because you need isolation. It's also important to make sure when you're there in a conflict, the people who are not part of the conflict should not be told about what's the conflict. Nice, no? I'll repeat it. If there is a conflict, make sure you discuss alone. Do not make people involved if they are not part of the conflict to resolve that particular conflict. It's better to keep it to you and yourself, or sorry, you and the other person, rather than having the third party. Only when it gets out of hand, it gets completely escalated, and you know the person opposite to you is brainless, they will not understand. Then probably seeking somebody's help, like a police or a lawyer, can make some sense. Otherwise, no. Conflict means someone is wrong, need not be. Often it's a misunderstanding. It's just that different needs, goals, and perspectives, not right and wrong. Predominantly, if a conflict is getting escalated, it's not because that it's not because that one of them is right, the other one is wrong. It basically means both are right and what to decide. That's basically conflict. Authority solves conflict, not always, not always. Orders may stop arguments, but don't solve root causes. Dialogue is the key. We need to speak about it. There are times when the conflicts happen out of deliberate attempt. Whatever you do, that particular teacher will make sure that she says or he says something opposite to you. And if that's a deliberate attempt, that conflict can never be resolved. Then authority comes into picture. The HOD or the coordinator or the vice principal or the principal has to step in. That's authority. But that need not be the case all the time. So authority solves conflict. It's actually a misconception. Orders may stop arguments, but don't solve the root causes. Conflict resolution is equal to compromise. Okay, it's not at all the case. True resolution may be collaboration, which is win-win, not just halfway. It's like this time you listen to me, next time I'll listen to you. But this time I'm there at a loss. I don't want to listen to you. If I'm at a loss, the whole organization is at loss. Why should I even listen to you? Let's continue discussing. Let's continue discussing for better resolutions. Conflict shows lack of respect, not at all. Just do not bring emotions into the picture when conflict resolution happens. Do not bring your family background when conflict resolution happens. People call these as cards, CARDS. I'll tell you something very interesting scenario. Most of you might be able to relate to this. Whenever there is a problem at home, say for example, you have a problem with your mother-in-law or your father-in-law, whatever the case is, and when the problem is getting escalated and you know that your mother-in-law is right and you are wrong, immediately what you will do, you'll start crying and you'll start talking about probably no this is applicable to both men and women. It's just that the tears can be seen in the women more often than the men. That's it. Otherwise it's quite a common scenario. So both of them will pull another card to justify their decision. This is called as playing the victim card. I left my home. I came for this family. I left my beautiful city. I'm living in another city just for you. All these are unnecessary victim cards. And then there is something called as women card. It is so difficult to survive as a woman in this society. Did you know that? This has got nothing to do with the problem. These are pulling out on cards. This is very bad. This happens only when you're emotional and you're not really thinking intellectually to solve a problem. Such kind of people should not be part of conflict resolution. If principals are there and if you know somebody in the school doing this, better avoid them at least during the resolution process. Conflict wastes time. Not at all. Unresolved conflict wastes time, but resolved conflict saves time later. There might be times that you might have to spend a little extra time today to solve a problem and figure out a system or a process, which might eat up your productive time, but that's okay. That's okay. If it is not solved right now, then very difficult. Probably can schedule it, following the Eisenhower matrix, but this is important. Now let us understand conflict resolution. I would like to play a small video on Thomas Kilmann model. I would like to repeat it. Thomas Kilmann model, two people who came up with a beautiful algorithm with which you can solve a conflict. See if it is relatable or not. I would like to share the computer sound. Now, this is made from the perspective of organization. Just see if this can be done at home as well. I would like to play the video. You'll be able to hear it.
Effective conflict resolution using the TKI model. Conflicts can be challenging, and if left unaddressed, can lead to unhealthy working relationships. Today, we're exploring a powerful tool for conflict resolution, the Thomas Kilmann conflict mode model. This well-known model was developed by Kenneth Thomas and Ralph Kilmann and helps individuals identify their preferred conflict resolution styles based on two key dimensions: assertiveness and cooperativeness. The assertiveness scale runs from low to high on the horizontal axis, and the cooperativeness scale from low to high on the vertical axis. Now, let's jump into the 5 conflict resolution styles. The competing style is all about winning and asserting your needs. Think of a situation where a team leader has a strong vision for a project and needs to make a quick decision to meet a tight deadline. Collaborating seeks a win-win for both parties. Imagine a scenario where team members with diverse expertise come together to address a complex problem, sharing insights and ideas. If you're using the compromising style, you're aiming for a middle ground. Picture a situation where two colleagues with conflicting preferences compromise on work schedules to maintain team harmony. The avoiding style sidesteps or defers the issue. Consider a moment when tensions are high and a team decides to take a break, giving everyone time to cool down before revisiting the discussion. Finally, the accommodating style focuses on others' needs. Think of a team member who willingly adjusts their workflow to support a colleague who is overwhelmed with tasks. Now, let's apply this model to a workplace conflict. Imagine a team working on a project with a tight deadline. Jasmine, the project lead, has a vision for a creative approach that she believes will ensure success. Edward is concerned about the feasibility of Jasmine's plan and suggests a more conventional approach to meet the deadline. In this scenario, Jasmine might adopt a competing style, advocating strongly for her vision. Edward, recognizing the importance of meeting the deadline, might choose a compromising style, finding a middle ground that incorporates elements of both plans. This way, they can balance creativity with feasibility, achieving a resolution that satisfies both parties. That's a wrap on our exploration of the Thomas Kilmann conflict mode model. Remember, applying these styles thoughtfully can turn conflicts into opportunities for growth and innovation and foster positive work environments. Innovation.
So I would like to pause over here, and I think you would have got some clarity on what it is. Now, conflict resolution, as per Thomas Kilmann, is mainly categorized into five areas. The first one is competing, the second is collaborating, the third is avoiding, and the fourth is accommodating, and the fifth is compromising. It's important for all of us to realize. It's important for all of us to realize the most ideal conflict resolution will be compromising, win-win. Let's find the middle ground. However, having said that, conflict resolution need not always mean everybody's happy about it. For example, in case of a decision made by a principal, because it has to be quick and you can't really take opinions of the like teachers, it has to be super urgent. Even if the teachers don't like it, with respect to the decision, we need to go and take the decision. That's where the principal comes into picture under competing point, where one person is winning and another person are losing. Now, the teachers, if they are against that particular rule, during a discussion they can mention about it, but the moment the decision is taken, the whole team has to support the principal, believing that there is something good. For example, when a cricket match happens, if 11 players are there on the field, not everybody might be happy about the captain's decision of assigning certain fielder to be present in a place, or assigning certain batsman to come first actually. But once the decision is taken by the captain, considering the scenarios by himself, the team has to listen. Now, the interesting part is, even if the team is unhappy at that particular moment, they have to make sure that they get up and start believing the fact that the captain must be right. And thinking that if they start coming and playing, and if the match really comes out really well, then the team members start believing in the captain. And there are times where the captains might fail, and the team has to come back to talk to the principal or the captain's thing that probably we could have done something like that. Now, this doesn't really mean that winning and losing is an aspect of dignity and pride. No, it's not the case at all. Sometimes it's okay to lose. It's absolutely fine for the betterment of larger chunk of people. Collaborating is again a win-win scenario. Let's work together. For a moment, I'll take care of the things, then you take care of the things. Especially this I owe you, you owe me sort of things happens in school staff room. I'm not sure if you do that. If you do, that's a great thing. Avoiding is basically not at all recommended. But to be very frank with you, majority of the conflicts that happen, I think it can be avoided. It's better not to really discuss about it. Sometimes very unproductive call happens in the school, like should we do this or not, and then it's like a very petty thing, a very small thing. Of course, there must be one person key responsible for a decision to be made over there, but better to ignore it for the betterment of better decisions of other activities. Finally, accommodating. Accommodating is a leader who is okay to not decide what they feel is right and prioritize the choice by the teacher or somebody else in a school setup. It's basically just to make sure that maybe the teachers are correct. I'm a new principal to this particular school. This topography and the parents teachers know it better, so let them decide for this time. I don't really like it, this decision. I don't feel it is appropriate, but still let me allow myself to probably like agree to disagree, something like that. So yeah, that's it with respect to Thomas Kilmann method. I think if you are there sitting in front of the system, I would request you to please go through it in a little more detail. There are multiple resources where you can learn about Thomas Kilmann method. The second method which I would like to talk about is very simple, something that you can remember in the form of an acronym called as RESTORE. So RESTORE is basically an acronym for recognize the conflict, empathize with all sides, state the issue clearly, talk it through, offer options, repair relationship, evaluate the outcome. One good part about this acronym is Not that, see, recognize the conflict, anybody can recognize, it's not a big deal. But empathize with all sides. Now, this particular point, if it is mentioned in the process, you will be able to consider perspectives, stakeholders. So there might be multiple people, like you need to consider the parents, if the parent is of a 10th standard student, or, there are a lot of factors which come into picture. One of the principals, the other day, she was actually about to scold, literally scold. She was frustrated with that parent, super frustrated. He has been always irritating, the both of them actually. And interestingly, when the parents came and ma'am didn't say anything about it. She was like, "It's okay, no problem. Let them go." Then later, when I inquired, "Ma'am, but we had planned. We were supposed to actually tell them very strictly that this is not the way they behave, especially like in front of other parents." See how nicely told. Her daughter is actually in 10th standard, and her like younger son is born very recently. So I'm pretty sure there's a lot of family trauma that they're undergoing, and they're venting it out. So that's okay. Let me not scold. Now, how beautiful about that particular leader that she took time to learn that there's a newborn baby at home. It was not told by the parents over there. Somebody else actually mentioned about it. And that's basically empathize with all sides, considering all the stakeholders into picture. State the issue clearly. Yeah, it's very important. It said that if you write the problem statement, 70%, no, 50% of your problem is actually solved. Write the problem statement clearly, 50% of the problem is solved. Talk it through is basically, talk to yourself, talk to the stakeholders. Next is offer options. We might have 5 solutions, and most of the time the solution is actually decided, but the leader will be very careful, or the principal, the teacher, or the coordinator will be careful about this. They know they've already chosen one solution, but they'll make sure that there are 5 options, and slowly drag the people towards that one particular option that they have already decided. I like it, kind of, but it should not be explicitly shown as well. You need to really have good skills. Repair relationships. It's important to make sure that you consider the emotions of relationship before deciding, and evaluate the outcome. If it works, great. If it doesn't, then again follow the technique right from the beginning. So this is another model called as restore. Nice, no? uh, Initially we discussed about one important point, stating do not bring emotions, or don't pull any victim card over there. We were talking about it, right? So here when they say empathize with all sides, it's not victim card, it's consideration of what emotional background they're undergoing right now. It's more from the perspective of consideration to solve a problem, not to increase the problem. You got the point, you got the difference, right? Let's go forward. Finally, coming to the last part of the session, in order to have a direction towards solving a particular problem or solving a particular conflict in the school, certain questions can redirect us. Look at this. Look at it. Questions that impact decision making during conflicts. It's for all the people. In order to get clarity of the conflict, the first set of question: what basic point are you trying to make? कहना क्या चाहते हो? What is your question? In fact, whatever you're suggesting as an answer, what are you trying to resolve? You know, it's very important for all of us to keep checking the objective of what we're doing. Is the purpose this? What is the purpose? Why are we even doing it? A lot of times the purpose is written and then we would have gone a very long distance in doing something after multiple brainstorming. Then again, coming back to the basic question, many people find it unproductive, but it's actually not the case. The question is supposed to be discussed each and every point. What basic point are you trying to make is one such question. What is the greatest driving force right now? It is talking about the positive aspect of that particular school or the person. Right now, this is the powerful weapon that I have. This is the Brahmastra that I have. What can I do with this? Something like that. Questions that isolate consequence. Oh, this is very beautiful. This is about abstraction. Many times in conflict resolution, too many unnecessary points will come into picture. How to avoid them? That's what are the what are the many and varied outcomes you expect. If you do this, these are the other consequences that will happen. What might be unanticipated or unintended questions or consequences? Sorry. It's like I decide to do this. Let me be ready. I might have to face the wrath of the parents tomorrow, but it's okay. I still stand by it. Something like that. What would happen if? Something like that. You understood the point, right? Now, questions that prompt a change of perspective. This is where empathy comes into picture. Here's how some others see it. Rather than principal saying that this is what I feel, She can be like, this is what my friends feel. No, this is how I feel. Saying is not wrong. It's completely fine. But maybe not in the first attempt. First attempt could be more like, I've spoken to some of my friends who are the principals in nearby schools, and they feel this could be done. What do you think about it? You know, making it more inclusive. Student agency, they call it. Why might they look at it that way? Sometimes you might feel a solution to be stupid. It's not at all appropriate. What is this? Why are they even doing this? But then there might be some scientific background to it. Why might they look at it that way? Nice, no? How can we, what would we do if money were no object? Majority of the times, it's all about business. If I come to a certain decision, I need to make parents happy. Why? Because they need to get their child admitted again next year in the same school. Could be, could be. So it's important to make sure that there has to be a decision which does not consider the factor of money. If the management prioritizes that, then we don't have an option, but it's important. So by brainstorming without financial limitations, the group is able to identify the real or ideal outcomes. In other words, to dream a little. Dream a little, because this doesn't happen. What haven't we explored? What are we not thinking of? वो generally होता है ना. What am I missing? What am I missing? What am I missing? Why am I not able to come to the solution? What am I missing? Something like that. So that's basically questions that address the group process. If you could wave a magic wand, what is one thing you would change? Why do you think we are feeling stuck? What's not being said that needs to be said? Or what's the elephant in the room? When we say questions that address the group process, it's like there is some very big thing sitting right in front of us. Why are we avoiding it? Have you come across a scenario where you are searching for your mobile phone and it is actually in your hand? You will search for nearly 5 minutes and then you'll realize the mobile phone was always in your hand. In my case, this has happened with the specs. I'm searching for the specs everywhere, but it's already there in my face. My wife is like, start sleeping on Sundays. You're not even able to realize that the specs is there in your face. Basically, what's the elephant in the room? That's it. That's it. These are the questions that redirect us towards, conflict resolution. Anyways, that brings me to the end of the session, teachers. I hope you got some clarity on conflict resolution. Yeah, the beautiful area. We got Thomas Kilman method today, restore model, and questions that can impact. There are a lot more in case of conflict resolution. I would request you to please, take time and go through. I would like to repeat it. If you're able to solve conflicts at home, solving conflicts in the workplace is a very easy task. Now, trying to solve a conflict in the school and not really able to solve it at home, no, it's very difficult. You can agree to disagree, but yeah, that's the case. Which category of conflicts from the following takes most of your energy in the school? It's predominantly the staff room conflicts. So start having the right relationship with the school teachers, the fellow colleagues. We'll talk about that in some other session. We came across various scenarios of conflicts between principals to teachers, teachers and parents, teachers and teachers, importantly, teachers and students, and students and students. That's how we began the session. And finally, we were also there at the definition of conflict, that it's not bad. It's just two different opinions, and we're not able to come to a conclusion. And where is that? It's over here. Yeah, that's it. I would like to share the presentation today right now, teachers, right over here on the Zoom chat and in the YouTube chat. You could use this for further preparation and probably take it forward. Thank you so much, teachers. Great interacting with one and all. Every Sunday, we try to touch upon an important topic that can really impact our decision making and increase the confidence levels. A 5 minutes of information through Sundays can lead you to great levels of confidence. This is what one of the teachers mentioned. I'm really happy that she mentioned that. So right now, let me show you this. Great. So 131, conflict resolution, and the presentation is there on the chat. Thank you, Charanjit ma'am. Thank you so much, teachers. Great interacting with one and all. I would like to meet you again in the next Super Sunday workshop. Until then, Jai Hind. Thank you, Sakina ma'am. Thank you so much, Ritu ma'am. Maruti Naik ma'am, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Shilpa ma'am. Sarita ma'am, thank you. Rudra ma'am, thank you so much. Nikita ma'am, thank you very much. Isaac, sir, thank you. Thank you so much. Krishna, thank you. Thank you. I would like to, Archana ma'am, thank you so much. I would like to request all the teachers out there to please share the information about Super Sunday workshop to your fellow colleagues. I'm very eager to come out on a day where there are around 1 lakh teachers, looking at the session live. And if it's possible or not, you need to tell me, because uh, I'm not sure if the topics that we select, I'm not sure if the delivery that we do actually is relatable and makes sense, or it's impacting you. I'm really happy that we're able to complete 131 sessions with the support from all of you, and of course the Super Teacher team members. So thank you for that. But still a little lack of confidence out there, because I want to see increase in numbers. Thank you, Isha ma'am. Thank you so much. Lavanya ma'am, thank you. Meera ma'am, thank you. Musrat ma'am, thank you so much. Lalita ma'am, Aruna Shri ma'am, thank you very much. Aruna ma'am, thank you so much. Anushila ma'am, good to see you. Seema ma'am, thank you. Arpita ma'am, thank you. Great. The session will be present on YouTube Live. It's there on the YouTube page of Super Teacher Official. Get the subscription, just subscribe it so that you can regularly get the update. Priya ma'am, thank you so much. Thank you, Taruna ma'am. Good to see you, Nilanjana ma'am. Swarupini ma'am, thank you. Swarupa Rani. Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you, Seema ma'am. Good to see you. Thank you, Parag ma'am. Thank you, Divya ma'am. Oh, thank you, Parna ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you, Isha ma'am. Ambigai ma'am, thank you so much. That's a big compliment. Thank you. Thank you, Padmavati ma'am. Thank you so much, Madhu ma'am. Maharajyoti ma'am, thank you. Thank you, Sujata ma'am. Means a lot. Sonali ma'am, thank you very much. You got the full score, Swati ma'am. Fantastic. I'll share the link of the video as well. And you can actually click on the link on social media handles to get the videos right away. Thank you, Smita ma'am. You're right, Maharajyoti ma'am. Thank you, Tanuja ma'am. Means a lot. Done. Naindara ma'am, let's see if that's possible. We'll do it. Thank you. Thank you, Nirmala ma'am. Means a lot. Thank you, Reshmi ma'am. Madhavi ma'am, that's why they are called as children, right? There is no methodology over there. Oh, Tanuja ma'am, we met yesterday, right? Okay, thank you. Oh, thank you, Swati ma'am. Oh, that's great, Prema ma'am. Thank you very much. Chalo, let's close for the day. Have a Super Sunday, teachers, with your family. I would like to meet you again in the next Super Sunday workshop with another interesting topic. Bye, everyone. Thank you, Nirmala ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sunita ma'am.